Hello, I wanted to showcase something I've been working on recently. I've been working with the Astron project, which was abandoned like many years ago. 2014, I think, was the last time it had a lot of activity in its development. And so there was only one example uh, made for it by Schwarzbeer, but this was back in 2014, and to run it, you need to compile an old version of Panda 3D that's modified to have the necessary implementation of the Astron protocol so that you can run it, and so it can communicate with the client agent, right? And also for the server side of the application. So I rewrote that same example, but using the astron.libpython implementation, which was also made by him. And this implementation is free from Panda. It's just by itself. And actually, it also uses Bamboo, which is the library that they were trying to switch over to with Astron, but they never finished that. So I want to showcase that. So you start the Astron daemon, then you start the services. This will create all the necessary distributed objects for running the example. So it'll initiate the anonymous contact distributed object global, as well as the login manager AI view and the distributed world AI view, which that distributed world is sort of like a container for all the avatars to be placed in when they join in. So I'll run the first client here. You can see the client runs exactly as it does on the original example, which actually there's a video of the original example from 2014, so it works just like it. And then I'll run a second client and connect it. And this actually shows one issue that I still haven't resolved, that it's missing in the astron.libpython implementation. So you can see that my first avatar is right here, but for my second client, it still thinks the avatar is at the origin at 000. But as soon as I move this avatar, it'll receive the update of where it actually is. So this is because in the DC file, you can see here, this in the original example has a required keyword, which means that it is required for the existence of this object. So whatever fields has the required keyword, it will be sent to the client as soon as they join, so that they get the updated position from the very beginning without them having to send another update. So that's something that's missing. And then also something that I've fixed is two things. So when a client, let me get this out. When a client leaves, usually it'll receive the delete message of the distributed objects, that knows to get rid of its own view on the client, so you saw it pop off there. This is missing on the AI side, on the Astron libpython implementation. So that's something that I fixed. So if there was an AI process running on the AI view for that avatar, it would have not ended if that avatar left. So for example, for updating the position, there's a process that's constantly running and updating the position. So now I fixed that so that process ends by it receiving that message. So also something else that I implemented was updating fields. So when you send the new positions for the avatar, or you indicate the intent, the client receives the new position, which is how I can see myself move here. So that's also something that was missing in the implementation that I also added. To get these fixes, you'd have to build the Astron libpython from my own fork, which has the changes that I made to it, and I've also opened a pull request to the original repository. And also an issue that rarely occurs. This only occurs when the interest times out. So whenever a new client joins, the service, so the AI, adds an interest to that client, so that it's interested in all new avatars that join the distributed world, and it's zero zone. So if that interest operation times out, you should say interest operation timed out, and it'll cause a segmentation fault. I'm not sure why this happens. I've been trying to debug it, viewing the core dumps and the Valgrind results of it to see if there's any issues with memory access. And there seems to be an issue with that, but I can't find the solution to that. So I'm still working on resolving that, but if you compile Astron as debug using CMake, this error rarely occurs.